But you've got to hold on to the dream of the book. You've got to hold on to the dream of what it can do for people. In fact, you've got to convince yourself that this book that you're working on can truly change the world. I remember when I was at 13,000 words on my book, and I felt like there's nothing left for me to say. I felt like I'd written everything that I could get from my head, and I was just like, there's no way that I can keep writing. Like, there's no, like, this is not going to be a legit book. This is going to be a tiny pamphlet, and nobody's going to want to read it. And I was feeling unmotivated. I was feeling like my dream of publishing a book was coming to an end because I was at 13,000 words, and my goal was at least 40,000. I wanted to get to 50,000, but even 40,000 felt like a daunting task. It felt like, I mean, legitimately, I wasn't even halfway to the total number of words that I wanted to get to. I was at 13,000 and I just felt capped out. I felt like there was nothing more to share. And so I had to find a way to get myself motivated to keep writing, to finish the book, and to actually eventually publish it. And so I want to share with you 3 specific ways that I was able to keep myself motivated and fired up to keep going, to keep writing, and to finally publish my first ever book through Amazon so that I could feel this sense of accomplishment and achievement and just get the work out into the world. So the very first thing that I did to stay motivated to keep writing my book was to be freaking sick and tired of not writing my book. Because you see, for at least 7 years, for over 7 years at that point, when I was at 13,000 words into writing my book, 7 years prior to that was the first time that I ever thought about writing a book. And so for 7 years, I'd been thinking about writing a book and coming up with hundreds of different titles that I might name my book, and coming up with a bunch of different things that I wanted to write about, and thinking about it and talking about it and telling all kinds of people that, yeah, one day I'm going to write a book. One day I'm going to write a book. And I still hadn't written a book. And so I finally got myself to this point where I was just so freaking sick and tired of talking about it and not actually doing it that I hung on to that discomfort, from that disgust, quite frankly, of myself and not actually doing the thing that I kept talking about. I'm a doer. Like, I love to just get things done and do it and put it out into the world, but I wasn't writing the book. And so I believe that it really helped me to just remind myself how sick and freaking tired I was of talking about writing a book without actually doing it. And so if you're at the point where you're talking about writing a book or thinking about writing a book, you're 12 or 13,000 words in, or 20,000 words in, whatever it might be, or 2 pages in, and you're thinking to yourself, gosh, maybe there's another book I should write, or, maybe, and you've been thinking about it for years, get yourself sick and tired of talking about it and just keep going. The second way that I really kept my fire burning to write that book and to get it out into the world and to publish it was to have faith that it could truly change lives, that it could truly make a positive impact in the life of any individual who chose to purchase it and read it. In fact, every time I sat down at my computer to write, I said a little prayer and just said, God, I ask that you use this book to bless other people. I ask that you use this book to make a positive impact in the lives of every single person who chooses to buy it and read it. I ask that you can use this book to catalyze positive change so that people who read it can become the best version of themselves and create and live an extraordinary life. I just had this sense of faith because I prayed over this book every single time I went to write it. I had faith that it could do what I was asking God to let it do. And certainly I haven't reached millions of people with this book yet, although we will get there. I have faith. For the people that have read it and that I've gotten feedback from, it is making a positive difference. It has truly inspired them. It's encouraged them. It's helped them to see themselves in the world differently. It's helped them to break through to a new way of thinking that helped them to make progress on their journey. And so I know that it can make a difference. And I believed it before I ever saw it come to reality. Because it's easier now that the book is out and I can get feedback and people can tell me it's making a positive difference. It's a lot different before you've published it. It's a lot different when you're still in the process of writing. Like, how do you have the faith to keep writing and knowing that it can make a difference? My friend, it's so simple, and yet it's not always easy to do. It's to have faith and to believe that whatever you're working on, the book that you're trying to publish, that you're going to publish, can make a positive difference in the life of at least one person, but maybe millions. And you've got to have this dream so ingrained into who you are that every single day when you wake up, you're excited to work on that thing. You know that you've got, whether it's 20 minutes or a couple of hours, if it's your side project, it's probably more like 30 minutes to 60 minutes. At least that's what it was for me for the vast majority of the time, was just chipping away at it every day. But you've got to hold on to the dream of the book. You've got to hold on to the dream of what it can do for people. In fact, you've got to convince yourself that this book that you're working on can truly change the world. It can change the world because it can change one life. If your book can change one life, which I know your book can, then it can change the world, because one life that can have a difference made in it can make a difference then for another life. And that person can make a difference for the next person. And you get this ripple effect because you published your book. So my friend, hang on to that vision, hang on to that dream, hang on to that belief, and let that faith grow in you every day, that it can make a difference in the lives of everyone who reads it. And that might be millions of people over the course of your lifetime. Who knows? And the third thing that I did to stay motivated while writing my book, to get it across the finish line of being published, was to hang on to the feelings of accomplishment that I would have when I published it. I wanted to hang on to this sense of fulfillment that I knew was going to happen when I could feel this book in my hands. And in fact, I'm completely okay sharing with you that when the proof copy came in, and if you're not familiar with Amazon, how Amazon self-publishing works, you can submit for a proof copy so that you can read through it and see what it is like before you actually get the real copies that go out into the world, or before the real one can be printed. And so the proof copy says not for resale on it. I have no idea why it does that. It doesn't make sense, but it does. And so it actually says in here, first proof copy. I wrote it out, first proof copy. And when this came in, and I was waiting there at the front porch for Amazon to come, and I knew the package was arriving because I was having it tracked. And when the package arrived and I opened it, my wife actually video recorded the experience. And I opened the package and I cried. I cried because I had worked so incredibly hard. I had put so much of my heart and soul into writing the book. And every day was just looking at my laptop and not actually feeling any book, but looking at my laptop and typing and typing and thinking and typing and thinking and typing and researching and reading and typing and thinking and typing. And I was just doing this over and over and over again. And remember what I said, this had been 7 years in the making. Although I hadn't actually been typing this specific book for 7 years. 7 years in the making of thinking about, wanting, and dreaming about writing a book. And so when I grabbed it, when I felt this proof copy for the first time, I cried because of the feeling and sense of fulfillment and achievement of all of my hard work. Wow. How cool is that?
Wow. That's so exciting. Eli, turn it. Who is that? Dad. Yeah, that's Dada's book. Oh.
I'm so excited. Oh my gosh, this looks incredible. And I know that if you need to feel motivated because you're only 2 pages in, or maybe you're 20 pages in, or maybe you're 20,000 words in, but wherever you are on your journey of writing your book, hang on to the sense of accomplishment and the feelings of fulfillment and joy and excitement that will come when you get to hold your physical copy of your book in your hands, knowing that this thing can truly make a difference in the life of other people. It truly can make a positive impact in the world. And if you hang on to that faith and you stay sick and tired of not doing it, and you keep reminding yourself of the dream every single day, and you remind yourself of the people that can be positively impacted every single day, then you will stay motivated and you will keep going, and eventually you will publish your book. But tell me in the comments below, where are you on your book writing journey? I'd love to know where you're at. I'd love to write you a message back to encourage you. And if you want to stay inspired and fired up to keep going on your personal growth and development journey, go and watch this video next, because I know it will help you working to become the next best version of yourself so that you can achieve bigger things. And no matter what challenges you're facing, my friend, just keep going.